Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a multi-passionate artist and I make YouTube videos to share inspiration and behind the scenes and more about my art practice. And today, what I wanted to show you was I've been working on a project for the summer. I might have mentioned that in the previous video. I read the book for the Stowe Prize for Literary Activism. The prize was awarded to James, a novel by Percival Everett, and it's this. And if you ever read Mark Twain and know about Mark Twain and Huckleberry Finn, it is Jim's side of the story. Okay, so amazing book. So for the past 3 years, I've been making the Stowe Prize for. The first one I did was Viral Justice for Ruha Benjamin, and I used polymer clay, resin, and a little bit of wire crochet. And then last year I did Bettina and Dr. Bettina Love's Punished for Dreaming, her book. And I also did a big resin piece. Oh, and not wire crochet. I turned polymer clay into like a quilt. I can talk about that at another time. I'll show what I'm sorry, my nails are dirty. I was working on some projects. So, but anyways. So for James, I was struck by just one sentence. It's a whole paragraph, but I'll just read one sentence to you, and then I'll go through what I created. With my pencil, I wrote myself into being. I wrote myself into here. So that was my inspiration. That was my launching off point for the piece that I wanted to create for James. And a mask kept coming into my head, so this was my one of my inspiration images that I downloaded off the internet, and I wanted to work with a different medium that I never used before, and it's called modeling clay, and it's air dry clay, and it has to stay wet while you work with it, so you have a limited amount of time. There are a couple other rules that you have to abide by, but I found this to be, I enjoyed working with this clay. I tried a porcelain kind of this, I think, and it just did not work for me. So I can talk about that at a different time. Right now I'm just going through the steps that I wanted to share with you, the steps that I made, so you can see what the behind the scenes are of this piece, and I can document my process. So this is right out the package. I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and I read the instructions, and I'm like, okay, let me try making a mask. All right, so that was my first one, wonky. Okay, so I was like, okay, let me keep going. Maybe I need to actually work a little bit harder. So this was another small one that I did. Not small, work a little bit smarter, right? Read about some things, learn a little bit more as I go. So this one came out pretty good. It's nice, and I could see that it was nice and smooth. I could make shapes, so this gave me a lot of information. So then I was like, well, how does it take to collage? Because I made some collage. I wanted to collage the mask that I was making. And so I wanted to make something different, so I made a cowrie shell, and I collaged it, painted over it. I even threw some wire crochet on it, and it holds up beautifully. I sealed it, and it just came out really lovely. That's the back. Okay. So then, I made a couple more. I liked how that came out. And I made a few, the only reason why I want to show these broken pieces is because it let me know that, okay, my mask has to be thick. Because these pieces broke, I kept them and I still worked on them, but I still love the way the collage ended up on these two pieces. This one broke, and then this one broke too. But look how they are together. So I'm going to mount these on a wood board or something, but I still love the way they came out. So that informed me that, okay, my piece has to be thick. Okay? So then the next thing I decided to do, I was like, well, let me just do a big mask in the size that I kind of want to do it. Excuse me. And let's see what happens. So the first one that I did was this one. I threw everything at it. I just threw on the collage. I wrote on it. I painted on it. So that's my first piece. And this one actually was like a mask. That's how I did it at first. And then during my process, I was thinking about the book and the quote, and I realized that, you know, James is not the mask. Jim was the mask. So that's why I covered up the eyes, and I wanted to not make it a mask. I wanted to make it a man's face. I wanted to make it a man. And I chose the color blue because I think it was Mary Baraka who said, black people are blues people after all that we have endured. And blue is very significant in the black experience. So the color blue. So I decided to use the color blue. So that's the one that I was like, okay, I'm going to make a face. Jim is the mask. James is the real person behind the mask. So that was that one. And I realized this helped me to figure out I wanted it curved, right? I wanted to have like some type of curving because my other test pieces were flat. So I wanted it to be curved, you know. I wanted to have some depth. And I used collage because I wanted to represent, I didn't show you my inspiration drawing that I did because I want to read to you my inspiration, the words that I thought about. I thought James the other part about the blues and jazz, I thought James was like a musician because he was very instinctual. He was very, he had no maps, he had no blueprint. When he came into a situation, he didn't know what he was walking into, and he just reacted. So he was always on his toes and always, you know, not sure what the next step is going to be, but there was going to be, but he did take the next step. Okay. Oh, another. I can have meaning. I love that. That was in the book too. So, some of the characteristics I wrote. This is this is the piece that I drew off of my inspiration picture. I said that James was, of course, a black man, brave, dreamer, hopeful, clever, ironic, smart, handsome, empathetic, father, husband, fisherman, boater, singer, survivalist, angry, calculated, writer, educated, teacher, philosopher, storyteller. So that was my inspiration image that I drew for James. You can see that. What I thought about him. Okay. So then when I figured out that I wanted my collage to be not chaotic, right? I decided I made some collage papers, and this is the small piece that I did, and I want to incorporate the words from James in there. So this is probably the turning point where I had an aha moment, I think, because I wanted to. It's like I wrote myself into being. That's the that's the effect I was going for. So I wrote myself into being, and there is is also oh, I don't want to give away the book if you haven't read it, but anyways, so then I'm not going to go into more detail about that, but there are some other things about the design that please read the book. And the audiobook is also available if you want to check out the audiobook, because I actually read the book and I listened to the audiobook. So this is my other piece. This was the next piece after the one that I just made. And I learned that you gotta, like I said, you gotta work fast or something's bound to fall off. And this top of the lip fell off. But this one I did the collage very orderly, and I put a little bit of marks on here, not too many marks. And I wrote and I collaged and I used the words again. So I'm like, okay, so it's a combination of these two. Okay, so these two pieces, I'm going to show you the final piece. I did it's mounted on 11 by 14. Ooh, okay, 11 by 14 wood panel. Can I get it on there? Get this out of the way. So this is the final piece. And I did the collage. I have the words in there. Has a little bit of sculpting in there for the face. It's not flat, it's curved. And this represents the depth of James, the depth of who we are as people. We're multifaceted, we're deep, you know. And even though James was an enslaved man, he was all of these things. And he wasn't supposed to be back then. And the black represents fragments of Jim, leftover fragments of Jim that still remain because, well, I'm not even going to go there, but that still remain. Because I think about like the future in the book. So that's why I was like, you never know when Jim has to come out again. Okay. So that's why I added the black and I added the words. And this is, this is the slave filter, if he needs that. And if you read the book, you'll understand what that is. I collaged the sides, only certain sides. Can I show it to you? Ooh. With fabric, African fabric that a friend gave me. And it's a fish, and it's very meaningful because that helped James survive throughout his adventure, throughout the book. And ooh, I don't like that, but anyways, that's the book. I can't do anything about it right now. So, and here I painted the sides blue, dark blue. And then on the back, the blues of becoming oneself. Artwork inspired by James. 2025 Stowe Prize recipient Percival Everett artist Jessicadickens. Get that in there a little bit better. I need to put this back in the box because I don't want anything to happen to it. But thank you for watching this quick video of my process of creating this project, and I really enjoyed it. It was challenging, and I'm glad it's finished. And I really loved it, and I hope to explore more of this type of work. And I will, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the description, leave them down in the comments, and I'll get to them. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.